think it's the epitome of like a championship team mindset that, you did it great, but you got to keep going. There's no time to really dilly-dally on it. It's not going to matter for next year, It's not going to matter really for next year at all. So excited to get back after it.
At the end of the day, it's June of 26. We got to start preparing for this next year and kind of understand we're a new team, got a lot of new pieces, and figure out how to win games this next year.
Well, you can tell back here on the Ultimate Seattle Sports Show that the Seahawks players and coaches bought in right away to Mike McDonald's deal of running it forward. That was the slogan throughout the spring and through the OTAs and the minicamp. They want to run this forward, and it seems like you listen to Gray, Abe, and the rest of that Seahawks team, Ariel, that they have this mentality that they are locked in for sure.
Yeah, I mean, they got their rings on Thursday night. Great celebration, great party. That wrapped up the off-season program. Next ahead is obviously training camp in late July, and that kind of just put a bow on everything. It put a bow on last year, and now they can focus on not being the reigning champs, but being possibly next year's champs.
All right, according to Pro Football Talk, the Seahawks will not be visiting the White House this summer. The players are off until training camp when they report back in late July. So it seems, Softy, that the window to squeeze in any kind of visit to the White House is over. And when you look at this and you look at years past, and of course you can call me a dinosaur for this because 20, 30 years ago it used to be a huge thing. And when the Seahawks went there to visit former President Barack Obama in 2014, that was late May, and they loved every bit of that visit. And nowadays, Softy, it used to be a privilege to go there. It's kind of a big deal, and a lot more teams are just kind of saying, yeah, you know what, we're going to be on vacation that week and we can't make it. So what do you think about this?
Yeah, first of all, I love that you're having me answer this question, so thank you for that, number one. Number two, I would just say this. If the team doesn't want to go, I don't care. If they want to go, I don't care. I mean, it's totally their call. I'm cool with it either way, right? If there's certain people in that locker room and that organization that don't want to go visit President Trump, then that's their prerogative and their decision, and I'm totally cool with that. And if they want to go see the White House and be a part of history, I'm totally cool with that, too. I realize there's going to be people on either side of the aisle that will lose their mind no matter what the Hawks do, go or don't go. I'm not one of those guys at all. Not sure your take on this, what you guys think, but I'm not even sure if they've been actually officially invited yet to the White House. But sometimes the way these things work, I think you two know, they'll kind of feel it out. And if the team isn't really showing a lot of interest in going, then maybe we just won't even extend the official invite to begin with and just move on and be done with it. But if they don't go, they're not, as you know, Ariel, the first professional sports team to decline a visit to the White House with President Trump. That's for sure.
For sure, and I think you just made a good point there saying that they haven't actually gotten the official invite, and that according to reports is true. But right. Like you mentioned, it's because sometimes the administration gets word that it's not going to go their way, and instead of being disappointed or embarrassed, they instead just don't invite at all. And I think that what the teams are starting to learn now, take back last year with the Philadelphia Eagles, some of the star players decided not to go, but the rest of the team went. And I think that teams don't really love the optics of that. They don't like the optics of some guys want to be there, some guys don't, which of course is their prerogative either way. But I think they like unity, and if you can't force somebody to do something, you might as well just say, you know what, we're gonna focus on. You can make it just about the team. We're gonna focus on us. We're gonna focus on the season and stuff like that. Yeah,
I mean, listen, that's a good take there, and for the record, I'm indifferent. I agree with Softy. I mean, it's up to the organization. You want to go. If you don't, it's fine with me. I don't care. But I do look ahead to the Seahawks playing in D.C. in late September, and you wonder maybe there's a window there where they go in a day early and they visit the White House then. Again, this is out there, could happen in September, but right now it doesn't look like it's going to happen according to Pro Football Focus. And Softy, the Seahawks got their Super Bowl rings last week. Cost of each ring about $50,000. I love that Jody Allen, the organization, just pumped it up and gave these guys this beautiful ring that is huge. And fans can buy a replica, by the way, that's cost nearly $16,000 if you get a replica. Has all the nice diamonds, just doesn't have a lot of everything that those rings have. And Hollywood star Chris Pratt could easily afford the ring, but he was gifted a Super Bowl ring by the organization as an honorary fan ambassador to the team. And this guy out of Lake Stevens was absolutely loving this, huh?
Yeah, I don't need the ring, Paul and Ariel, because I've already got this, by the way, sitting at home in my bonus room right there. I've already got one of these bad boys,
nice.
so
Wow.
I'm good to go. Yeah.
Wow.
And that's last year's, and that's going to look even better when I put it together with the first one from 12 years ago. So yeah, we got a pair of these bad boys sitting at home right now, and people were kind of busting my chops for buying that thing, but I don't know. I look at it as just a memento for a fan, or whatever, picture, shirt, hat, pennant, blah blah blah. But I mean, wearing a ring, I don't know if Chris is going to actually wear that ring around town. He might put it in his trophy case at home, or whatever, display it in his man cave. But I don't know if I could see anybody actually buying a replica thing and wearing that thing around, because the players don't even wear those things, for God's sakes. You put that ring on, you fall over, for crying out loud. But I thought the coolest thing, by the way, about the ring ceremony is the rings coming down from the sky. When they had that event, every player was sitting at a different spot, and they had the rings come down from the roof, man. And I saw that, and I just said to myself, my God, that is absolutely first stinking class. Please, for the love of God, is there a way that we can have Jody Allen keep this football team and not force her to sell? Because that was another reminder of how first class this team does stuff, guys. That was awesome. Look, I'm 53 years old. I don't use words like this very often, but that was sick. That was dope what they did that night. That was incredible. By the way, you guys are back on screen. You guys are back on the air, by the way. We saw all that going on back there.
Well, listen, I think it's great that you bring that up, because, if I walked around and I said sick, cringe, slay, I mean,
that's right.
People would just laugh at me. I don't try to be who I'm not.
That's why I just said I'm 53 years old. I don't use words like that. I feel like an idiot using words like that. But I am #blessed to be on this show with you guys, by the way.
Hey, I'm 35 and I still feel like I'm like millennial cringe. Like I can't use all of like the terms that Gen Z uses these days. So like I'm right there with you.
Yeah, well, I think it's like I said, that's fantastic. I love the fact that you have 2 Super Bowl trophies with you as well, too. So you want to say anything else before we actually talk about the team on the field?
No, I just want you guys to know how cool I am that I have this and you don't, by the way. So just keep that in mind, all right?
Okay.
Next time you look at all your...
If you wore that, it'd be the same size of the ring.
I might wear this around my neck, by the way. If I ever come into the studio with you guys, I promise I'll bring this into the studio and wear it around my neck. But
yeah.
Paul, I'll
nice
get you one of these. You can
around it.
Yeah, you can put this next to all your punting trophies from high school, by the way. All right, all your kicking trophies.
That's a topic for another day, because that thing would dominate that room for sure. But you talk about these players and the fact that how big these rings are. I've talked to Damon Heward in the past, won two Super Bowls with the Patriots. He has his 2 huge rings, and I asked him to bring him in one time. This was years ago on an old show, and he brought him in just so he could show us. But he admitted, this is the first time I've taken these out of the safe deposit box, and the only time I ever bring them out is just for situations like this. He would never wear them around, like you said.
No, they're way too big. I actually, Ariel, how tall are you? About 4'8", by the way? Because I think those rings might be bigger than you, for crying out loud. So they are gigantic. They are big.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I really like about it, I like that the top comes off and you can actually wear it as a necklace. I mean, it's still as big as like Flava Flav's clock on your chest, but like at least like you can still wear it better than you can wear a ring.
All right, hey, before we move on to the next segment, let's talk a little bit about this Seahawks team, Softy. You look at their schedule and you look at the team and the players that are returning for this team. They get a nice summer break here. They're all off. I love the fact that Mike McDonald had this mini camp early. Heck, Kyle Shanahan down there with the 49ers canceled mini camp and gave his players the extra week off. But Mike had this group in early. They all committed. Great participation. Had that mini camp from the 9th to 11th, and then they had this nice stretch of summer break for this team.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, no wonder the Niners are getting time off. They're all getting fried to death with that electrical substation nearby their practice facility. So the less time they can spend at that place, the better, right? But, I mean, I just think that, you said it, Paul, coming in, that there's, some changes on this football team, or you heard the quote from Gray Zabel there talking about the changes on the football team. And really, I mean, it's just the secondary and it's a running back, right? And I'm not trying to minimize those changes, but they still have Julian Love. They still have Devin Witherspoon back there. Obviously, Reek Woolen, Kobe Bryant, Ken Walker, all getting replaced on this football team, and that is not insignificant. But if you look at previous Super Bowl champions and how much those teams lost, especially in the trenches, by the way, it feels like the Hawks are set up as good or better than any Super Bowl championship team that we've seen in maybe the last 10 to 15, 20 years, guys. The entire offensive line is back on this football team, unless you're losing sleep over Boye Mafe leaving, which I'm not, by the way. The entire defensive line is back. They might even be better off with Dante Fowler Jr. over Boye Mafe. So I feel great about this team, guys. And I'll tell you what, if I'm going to lose any part of the football team, it's going to be a portion of my defense, because I trust Mike Macdonald to fix it. I trust Mike Macdonald to plug and play and stick any new piece in there, and that piece is going to be just as good as the previous piece. I've always told you, and I've always thought this, man, that ever since Macdonald took over, the star of this show is him. It's his scheme, his defense, his mind, his brain is the star. It's the straw that stirs the drink, to steal a line from Reggie Jackson from 50 years ago that only Paul remembers because he's old. But that's the point. Mike Macdonald, as long as he's here, this defense is going to be elite, and I have no problem saying that again this year. I don't care who they lost off last year's team. And oh, by the way, one more quick point. The Witherspoon thing may actually turn out to be a blessing in disguise, unless he holds out, which I doubt he will. But if there's not a new deal done by September, and this guy's playing for a new contract, by the way, for next year, look out.
Yeah, I think the NFL is a copycat league. We know that teams love to do and emulate what other teams are doing, and I think a lot of teams saw what Mike Macdonald's defense did last year. They want to emulate that. They want to copycat, and Mike has already said they've got to kind of reinvent themselves on that side of the ball going into this upcoming season to make sure they stay ahead of the curve.